There we go. Right. Good morning. Brilliant. Let's try it again. Good morning, viewers and listeners. Welcome to Show Business on Spice FM. It must be it must be 4D. You know how you used to have like stereo sound where it came from two speakers. We must have been coming out of four speakers. Quadrophonia, quadrophone. Anyway, it's four speakers. It's quadraphonics, isn't it? Four. You're listening to Ammar and
Jaff
live on our weekly radio show right here on Spice FM.
And each week we bring some views, news, and one or two clues from the business world.
Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities.
And you'll be talking shop quite literally, not just corner shops, whether you're looking to start a business, have an existing business, or you just want to talk business, we can help.
We can help. We can help. Yeah. Gosh, Jeff, 1st of August.
I know. My
Second
God.
half of the year.
Wow. It's more than half, isn't it? Into month 8 already.
Oh, month 8. Sorry. Yeah.
2/3.
Yeah.
A third.
I'm in Teesside. I'm sat in Wilton Engineering.
Right.
They make big things in big places. It's huge. On the port of Middlesbrough. I've never been here before, but they've kindly allowed me to do my radio show before we go on to have a meeting with them.
Excellent.
It's a great organisation. It's been around for a long time.
And what is their business, Ammar?
They make stuff, like big stuff. I think they're building submarines at the minute.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, as in, it is. And forgive the product placement. I'll turn it that way. They haven't paid me anything to place their product, so I'll put it over there. But yeah. Anyway, it's a crazy week, right, Jeff?
Yeah, it is. It is a crazy week. All of the weeks are crazy, though. I think, like you said, Ammar, time flies so quickly, and business moves so fast. I was in London for a couple of days, and
how was it?
Very busy, very, very busy. But interestingly, I spoke to a couple of property developers, and their business is really, really flat. I think it's the same concerns around the country in terms of people's cost of living have gone up so much. And I was speaking to a friend of ours who's very, very successful in the property game, and he was saying how the place where he lives at in the kind of countryside, it's all about his bins are going to get collected once a month now.
What?
Instead of once a week, it became twice a week. Now it's going to be once a month, and then the question is, well, what we're paying our council tax for? What we're getting? When you pay for the police, do they ever arrive? So I think, but yet the costs keep on increasing, and what we're getting in return keeps on decreasing. So there is a big issue there, kind of nationwide issue, Ammar, and everyone you speak to, and I say to our team members, if you want to really understand what's going on in the economy, instead of reading the papers, just speak to your colleagues, speak to the customers, speak to the guests. That's the reality of what's happening. And sometimes you read something on BBC, it's not often the reality in the real world. So I think it's important from anyone in business to really be close to your customers. But if you are in touch with them and you have that customer contact, at least get the information from them, because then you'll know how you find ways of adapting your business for that benefit.
I mean, it's a brilliant point. No, I think it's for every and any customer, um, rather than constantly looking inwards. It feels like we should be looking a far more outwards and having constant conversations with our customers. I mean, your products and services should all be developed around your customers. Think about it, Jeff, when you set up your restaurants, and I appreciate we're talking about a variety of different things, but when you set up your restaurants, how long do you spend going through your menu development? How long do you spend going through um, engagement, testing, trialing, all of those type of things?
Well, yeah, it all takes a very, very long time, especially
No,
when
but my point is,
you,
you do that. Not
yeah,
how long do you do it? As
yeah,
in,
yeah.
you spend a lot of time and effort and energy
Mm,
in engaging, testing, refining, and
yeah.
then it's the same thing from an ongoing perspective. Whether it's how was your experience today, or whether it's give us a can you review this, or give whatever it is, using a variety of feedback loops and constantly talking to both your customers, but we spend quite a bit of time talking to our suppliers as well.
Mhm.
That's the other thing, because you don't know what you don't know, right? We take our suppliers for granted, don't we?
Mm. Ammar, what do you think that I mean, we're looking for a bit of encouragement, really, in terms of because it all seems to be a lot of doom and gloom when you're speaking to people in the business world, certainly that I come across. But in your industry and the people that you're doing business with, obviously it's a totally different scale. Are they finding it easier? Is there certain industries which are going to fare a lot better than how the general economy is? I'm sure that that's always going to be the case, but how are you finding things at the moment?
The reason why I'm hesitant in responding to that is I'm a forever optimist, aren't I? As in, it doesn't matter what's happening. Someone's like kicking my head in, and I'm thinking, oh, at least they're not jumping on my toes, right? Is what I'm thinking.
Mm.
Very crudely, of course they're not, and forgive me because that's a very poor analogy. No one should be hitting anyone. And but my point being, from a business perspective, yeah, things are hard and things are hard, but don't forget, wherever there is a challenge or wherever there are challenges, there are opportunities. That's my view. So I always go, I mean, gosh, we're talking about a flight, right? We're setting up a flight from Teesside to Jeddah. And the focus of that flight is a particular customer segment. And I go, I don't believe that we should just have a customer segment. I think we should be looking at a number of different customer segments, because that flight, you could position it for this, you could position it for that, you could position it for that, right? Let's pick out one of your restaurants. Um, all of a sudden, are there broader, wider opportunities around the supply of food? So, look, this is here's an idea just off the back of my head that other agencies and things like that would charge a lot of money for. I freely give away ideas because I have so many of them. But let's just say, but they're brilliant ideas, by the way. Let's just to be clearer on this. But let for argument's sake, right? People are being forced to go into care homes, right? As an example, and sadly, there's a huge rise generally with the haves and the have-nots, right? But imagine McCarthy Stone, Helen McCardle, whatever it is, these premium care homes where they actually are paying rather than 1,100, £1,200. You know, that's how much it costs, Jeff. £1,200 to go into a decent care home a week.
Really?
£1,200.
Are you joking?
£1,200 a week, right? So we're in the wrong business, right? That's a different idea we need to talk about. But and people are living longer, and people are demanding more. And sadly, people aren't being as caring as they used to be about the parents and everything else. All of these factors. But anyway, look, I'm a restaurant owner, and things are starting to get a little bit hard. Well, immediately I'd be talking to a care home, like a premium care home, and saying, by the way, can we start doing 1 or 2 nights a week where you're doing a Dabawal night or a Kai Kai night or whatever it is? And immediately you're developing, you become a supply chain, and there's the demand there, and it's a premium, and they'll pay for it. Jeff, that's a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah. It's it is. I think.
Anyway, let's not talk about it too much because someone else might nick it.
Yeah.
But no, but all I'm saying is wherever there are challenges. Now, construction, right? Let's go back to your question around construction. Things are becoming harder within development, property sales. I mean, there's a statistic that came out. The highest number of insolvencies or red flag warnings. You know, Begbie's trainers issued a report 2 days ago, red flag alert, highest number of businesses in crisis. What's the definition? The definition there is quite simply they haven't been able to pay their bills, or their creditors are chasing them, or they've made late payments, or whatever it is. And don't forget, credit agencies know everything about everything now, you know, especially from a business perspective. So there's this highest number of businesses in distress. But if I was in a construction firm, people need to build houses. People need, the government's announced that they're going to build more houses, do more construction. So where your current market is, it's about understanding where alternative markets are, right? Rather than getting fixated on one particular customer segment. All I'm saying is look more broadly. There are opportunities. People are going to need housing. We're in a real state of flux as a country, and you know, whatever you say, there's more people. And yes, you know, there's a proportion of these which are migrants and things like that. Not to the extent where people are, you know, protesting on the streets and all of that type of nonsense. But there is a challenge, you know, out there right here, right now. But there are real opportunities. What was the development guy saying?
Generally, in London, the properties have been the lowest that they have been since a very, very long time, talking over a decade. And he's saying that there's going to be a massive reset in terms of property prices because they just went up way too much. So he was saying that the properties that are up and over a couple of million quid, that market is still okay, but the market below that is really getting smashed. And I think it's probably because those that are over 2.5 mil, they have old money, inheritance, A, B, C, and D, whereas those below a mil is probably, you know, a couple working, both of them's working, and they're trying to get onto the ladder, or they've just got onto the ladder, and they're just finding it very difficult because obviously the costs have become so tight that that market is suffering. So that's across the board in London. And I think that's the same thing that I've read across the country, where the property prices are the lowest they have been for a while.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
But I might probably also tie in with those silly laws and changes that they've made, where the landlords, why would you want to have a property when, you know, the tenants have all the rights and the landlord doesn't have any? You can't remove a tenant in A, B, C, and D. I think a lot of people that I've spoken to, that's really been off-putting for them.
Look, the pressure and pain from everything and everyone, Jeff, is so significant. Sorry, I'm going to join this meeting, so forgive me if there is a speaker is low. And so that works. Because we've got a presentation that Jamie kindly pulls together, is what it is. And within that, there is a bit of the news, is what there is. And I probably trying to do too many things all at once. Yeah, it's just extraordinary that the constraints on landlords, the broader challenges around. So sadly, what's happening is anybody who has an enterprise, any type of enterprise, whether you're a landlord, whether you run a business, whatever type of industry or sector you were in, and where you've always paid your taxes and you pay taxes, there's a drive to squeeze everyone more.
Yeah, which is just, I mean, what are they going to gain by doing that? Because it comes to the point where you feel that, hold on, enough is enough. I mean, it becomes a bit ludicrous where you're doing business and everything that comes with having a business, the pain and hurt and, doing business in your sleep, where you're waking up to dreams about concepts and new dishes or menus or whatever. Going through all of that, and at the end of it, having businesses that are turning over, and on the face of it, they seem to be doing well. But when
turnover, we know turnover is vanity, right? And profit is sanity. And this is the point. This is the challenge. People are getting fixated on, and people are seeing, an increase in turnover everywhere, increase in throughput everywhere. But when there's no profit left, what can you do? I know so many business owners, Jeff, that actually take either no wage or an illegal amount of wages, right? Because they're paying themselves, because they want to pay everybody else.
Mm.
I know people who are working for a couple of pounds an hour who own businesses, or they're worried so much, but they'll always pay. So fundamentally, they're just purely working to keep other people in jobs, and it's their business. It is crazy.
Yeah, I just can't see get to the end of the year if it continues like this or not, and there isn't any major shift in government strategy. I think we're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah,
and I think on the quick fire, because I was thinking to myself, how does the government fix this? The easy fix is, and they won't do it, but reduce VAT to 5%. And I think that'll give people space to breathe straight away.
Only for those, Jeff. So yes, it'll give certain people space to breathe. It'll give certain people space to breathe, but for a lot of people who buy goods and sell them, the value of a reduction in VAT isn't that much, but it reduces prices more broadly for the consumer, which is a really big deal.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's one thing or another, is it?
No, there's a whole host of complexities and poor decisions that's led things to where they are. But I'm just wondering if the powers that be, are they still in their little bubble where they're not in the real world, and they read some statistics that land on their desk from a particular organization, and that's not the true reality, and they make decisions based on that, which then doesn't have an impact on the real industries that it should.
Yeah, just it's just the short-sightedness is what it is. Now, I'll tell you what's going to be a really interesting state of affairs more broadly, Jeff, is the fact local authorities, we're going to see droves of people coming out because all of the local authority elections are happening in May, and Labour and Conservative, the mainstream political parties, will be decimated. And Reform and the protest parties and the Green parties and the Lib Dems, you can see them, because people are just going from one extreme. We're going through a period of extremism. People no longer sit on the fence, right? People no longer will sit and go, actually, I'll say that or that. We are so strongly opinionated now. It's like everyone's being forced to take sides. Aren't they?
Yeah, it's tough. Anyway, yeah, it's all a bit gloomy, but we can only represent what's happening in the economy and what's happening in the real world, and it's our responsibility to share a bit of that. But maybe you can bring a bit of light.
Yeah.
Some other area.
Yeah, let's do this business topic of the week, right? Yeah. So your business reputation is one of your most valuable assets, helping to build trust, attract customers, and unlock opportunities for growth. But strong reputations don't happen overnight. They require consistent effort and a focus on professionalism. This blog outlines 10 practical strategies to improve how your business is perceived. And it feeds into Jaff, if you think, doesn't it? Because it's becoming more competitive, because it's becoming more challenging, how do you deliver the best service you can and maintain the best reputation? So this topic of the week outlines 10 practical strategies to improve how your business is perceived. Deliver excellent customer service to build trust and loyalty. I mean, Jeff, how often is there mediocre service now, which is just the norm?
Yeah, I think the standards are dependent on the skill sets or the skill available when you're recruiting, right? And some of it is a matter of, do you have the time to develop individuals up to a particular standard, or those that you recruit, what level are they? So I think that's kind of dependent on the society and the workforce that we as employers have kind of available.
Yeah. I mean, and you're right, but it's also like the culture of that space and place, isn't it? I must admit, I really struggle with poor customer service, and my good wife is incredibly patient and tolerant, right? And she can always see me going, and she's like, "Oh no, you can't say anything. Oh no, you can't," and that anxiety, and it's like me, like Victor Meldrew, going to complain again, type of thing. But actually, it's not quite that, right? I'm of the view, unless I point something out, and how could it ever be fixed? If everyone's prepared to accept poor service, then the world's got to, hasn't it? Is everyone's just prepared to accept poor service. It was interesting. Last week, I went to Leeds, and I must admit, I've done that train journey now to Manchester, to wherever it is, from Newcastle, and I am going to name the train company Transpennine Express, right? And I'm fortunate to be able to sit where I do, because I've got a rail card and I get a discount and I save up to make these journeys. But sat in this carriage, in this particular carriage, every single time over the last few journeys, the service has been brilliant. The food, the frequency, and everything else, and on all of those occasions, I've made and took the effort to say thank you so much. Now, now, in reality, that should just be the norm, shouldn't it? We all should be able to expect trains to arrive on time, food and drink to be there for everyone, for them to be clean and everything else. And because they are so not most of the time, the rare occasions where they are, I'll tell you what, something that happened to me, Jeff, and I have to share this with you, which I just thought, how could this even happen, right? A few months back, I think it was earlier this year, one of these services from either Manchester or Liverpool, wherever I was, we had to sit at York Station for 20 minutes because we'd got there too early.
Yeah. What, they wouldn't let you get out?
No. As in, it was a train journey from either Liverpool or Manchester or wherever it was to Newcastle, but the train had actually got to York. So let's just say it was meant to get to York at 1 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
And it got there 20 minutes early.
Yeah.
I've never experienced that.
Yeah. What, was he putting his foot down or something in the drive?
Clearly,
it must have been like just jolly.
Yeah, but they're all set on time, so it must have just sped up for a period of time. I think it was one of these where it only had 2 or 3 stops.
Yeah.
Is what it had. But it was just what a peculiar position. Imagine the train getting somewhere early. I was like, that was never happened in my life. And the reason why I'm mentioning it is because I've never heard of anybody ever say, "On the train got there early."
Yeah. Well, he must have been enjoying himself, man.
Yeah, well, I was.
Must have been having a good day.
Because I managed to jump off and get myself something and whatever it was. Yeah. It's like,
Sometimes that could cause issues, though, as well, because if you're waiting for that platform to be clear because there's another train in front of you.
Oh, like, there's all of that, isn't there? There's all of those things is what it is. Anyway, coming back to these points, the business topic of the week. So deliver excellent customer service to build trust and loyalty. Use a professional business address. So if you're working from home, because lots of people are working from home and they don't realize, there are trades or whatever it is, a business address, helps you demark from the office and where you actually work. To boost credibility and appear established. The other thing that I noticed, a lot of trades, Jeff, and a number of businesses use this Gmail. So it's like, Super Duper Food or XX Joinery or whatever it is. And they use like Gmail and things like that. It's not very professional, is it?
It's not. I've always thought about that. You need to have your business on there. You need to go and set up a proper email with your business name on there, whether it be info or inquiries or whatever it is.
Yeah. And then strengthen your online presence with a clear website, because that's why you would have your domain, and then as well, wouldn't you? Active social media and consistent branding. Be transparent and honest. Integrity builds long-term trust. encourage and manage reviews, responding to both positive and negative feedback, engage with your industry through networking and events to enhance credibility, stay consistent in branding and communication across all channels, share insights and thought leadership to position yourself as a trusted expert, maintain financial and legal responsibility to protect your reputation, and invest in corporate social responsibility and community initiatives to align with customer values. Reputation is shaped by every customer interaction, decision, and communication. A professional address is a simple step towards building trust and establishing a solid reputation. And yeah, it's interesting. So, and actually, the SME Centre of Excellence provides a lot of those services. And if you're interested in setting up a new business, there's a lot of support available through the SME Centre of Excellence, including some grants at the minute, Jeff. You know, for the right businesses, there's some grants available.
Could do with a few grants.
Yeah, I know, but you're not a startup business, are you? And like you've done lots, so I could do with a few grants. So we could. Remember the bad old days? It was funny, wasn't it?
Business Link and stuff, right? Business Link was good, Ammar.
Oh, it was brilliant.
I think it was
the impact of it.
It was actually really good because I mean I don't know why they stopped that because I benefited from that. You know, we managed to find mentors and good marketing agencies, and you know it was partially funded, and you would never have been brave enough to work with like the top marketing agencies because they are expensive if there wasn't that funding available. So it was a great scheme. I think they stopped it. I don't know when governance changes and parties change, they come and stop some good things that were helping the economy. And remember the other thing where it was passionate about the Northeast or whatever. They were really promoting the Northeast to around the country. And that was really good initiatives that would have helped brought in a lot of tourists into the city. That I don't know how are we selling Newcastle around the country to bring more people in? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's passionate people, passionate places.
Yeah, that was it, wasn't
it? It was a great catchphrase. We've talked about it because don't forget there was the One Northeast Regional Development Agency, and then that got subsumed or that converted into these local enterprise partnerships, and I chaired the business board there for a long time, and I was a member of that for 10 years, I think is what I was, and we looked at that and everyone felt like everyone and anyone that you spoke to, but for whatever reason, there was some like political reason, which politics always gets in the ways, doesn't it? But there was some political reason as to why we couldn't use that and where the intellectual property sat and things like that. So it was interesting as what it was. Yeah, it was a great showcase, you know, passionate people. And actually I still use that descriptive word to describe everyone from the whole of the Northeast. So that includes where I'm sat now, Tees Valley. People are really passionate. That's what they are. You know, it's good. It says what it does on the tin. And there's so much for saying what it does on the tin or doing what it says on the tin or whatever that phrase is. Jeff, what's the oldest advert that you can remember?
Oof. God, that's a question, isn't it? It's making me think. I mean, I can remember the one with the lady in the bikini on the beach, the Bacardi one. Can you remember that?
What?
The pretty lady, and she was like, she had this bikini on, and it was the Bacardi one. And
I don't think that was an advert. I think that was one of those movies
advert.
that you weren't allowed to watch. Did you ever go to that? There was a cinema down at the bottom of Westgate Road, wasn't there? Was there not like
Oh
a
yeah, on the right hand side, it was the one that had alternative
XXX or
movies.
something? Was it XXX? Was it actually? It was
No,
actually
no,
called Triple X.
no, I don't know. I think it was they had alternative movies. I'm sure I remember. It was a theater, wasn't it? Oh,
No,
what?
was it ABC? ABC. I feel as if it was something like that.
No,
Anyway, yeah, no. Why did you? I can't remember any advert about it.
you'll have to put it. I think the ones that you do remember the most is probably the Coca-Cola ones at Christmas.
Yeah, but these are like I'm talking about like from years ago. I'm talking about what's the earliest, not like what did you watch
The
last week?
earliest.
Yeah, like as a kid. Can you remember any adverts as a
Nah,
kid?
I can't.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
can't.
There was like can you remember the Green Cross Code Man? That was like, can you remember him?
Not on an advert, as in literally the Green Cross Code man on the zebra crossings.
Yeah, well, that was an advert.
No, man, there was a real Green Cross Code man though as well. Sometimes
That was a tongue twister. No, man, it was an advert on the telly to make sure that you look left and look right and whatever else. And
okay.
it was like the same thing on various other things like clunk click. Can you remember that? Clunk click. Do you remember what that related to?
Nah,
Clunk click. It was your seatbelt. Can you remember the laws changed where you had to wear a seatbelt?
that was in the 70s, man. Ammar.
Your
I
seatbelt.
wasn't.
What you talking about? The seatbelt was in the 80s. We used to go in the back of the Volvo to Bradford in the boot. You know, that was, that was,
Remember the days where like when you used to have 5, 6 people in the back seats, man. Oh my god!
I mean,
And they made it
well, it
three.
wasn't.
It's
It
right,
wasn't just.
everything, didn't they? They like made it into 3 people in the back. I mean, come on, man. What
Well,
about
no, we
that?
used to like. Dad had a Volvo estate. I remember Dad having a Volvo. We'd be in the back, like everyone would pile in, but it wasn't just us. I mean, maybe it was just us. Maybe it was an ethnic thing, but it wasn't illegal at that time, was it?
Yeah, yes. Oh, that was funny actually. When you recall the number of people in the back seats, man. Oh my goodness. I mean, to only have 3 people now,
How many people can you get? I mean, some cars only have two, but yeah, how many people do you have in the? Yeah, I mean, the times have changed, haven't they?
yeah.
It's like if you think
Yeah.
about it, growing up was so much more. Well, I don't know. Was
It
it
was
more?
more enjoyable. It was more. It wasn't so systematic. You were a bit freer. It was a bit more fun. It was a bit more loose. Now everything is all about rules, regulations, this, that, and the other, and it's all become so kind of regimented. I think society has become very regimented compared to what it used to be.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree.
You had more freedom
Well,
and
there
fun
is no, but actually, some of them are there for
for the
the
best.
right reasons,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
There is, there is.
We
I
speak it.
mean, if you look at how many people died without seatbelts,
Oh,
and
of course.
as in seatbelts saving people and things like that. But you're right.
Yeah.
It was just a different era, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
you talk about these things. It just shows how old we are. Black and white days, as in we actually used to watch. There was a lot of things on the telly that were just in black and white. Imagine, yeah, television, right? Television would have just been television, right?
Yeah.
When it first came out.
Well, and it would have just been BBC One, and that was it.
Yeah, no, that was it. And then actually I was talking to our good great friend, Mr. Alan Curry, and
Oh,
he was telling me when he was there was only two channels. There was only BBC One and ITV, and then they brought BBC Two, and then they brought Channel 4. Remember when Channel 4 came out, Jeff? That was in our
big deal, wasn't it? It was a big
It
deal.
was outrageous because it was outrageous.
Yeah.
It broke all the norms of television, and the society declined like that. Is what it did.
Yeah.
But yeah, but anyway, going back to that point, television would have just been television, right? And no one would have sat there going, "Oh, I've got black and white TV," right? Because color didn't exist. They wouldn't have known that, right? And then colors come along, and now it's like virtual reality, and now it's like it's all extreme, isn't it? Is what it is. It's you're showing your age, Jeff.
Yeah, most certainly.
We are getting old.
Not getting younger.
We're getting old.
Yeah.
I thought were we not meant to be going somewhere?
Yeah, did not say we should go
New York.
yeah, New
That's
York
the-
or New York, or did not say St. Petersburg just to be rebellious.
Yeah, can't say that publicly though. Wouldn't. Anyway, the Curry Club's happening on the 13th of August, Jeff. Super exciting, is what it is. They're great events with great food at great places. And this one is being hosted once again by ISS Airview, is what it is. What's going on in the news? So these are the things, Jeff. Look at this, right? UK firms cutting staff at fastest pace since February as economic pressures mount, right? UK businesses are cutting jobs at the fastest rate since February, driven by rising payroll taxes and uncertainty over US tariffs. The July Standard and Poor global PMI shows economic growth is slowing, with the index dropping from 52 to 51, barely above contraction. So if it drops to 50 or below, it means the economy's contracting. Services are weakening, and although manufacturing output rose slightly, overall demand is down. Firms are struggling with higher employment costs, subdued consumer demand, and declining export sales, now in their ninth month of contraction. Unemployment has reached 4.7%, a 4-year high, and wage growth is slowing. Inflation remains stubborn at 3.4%, especially in sectors like food and hospitality. The Bank of England is under pressure to cut interest rates, possibly as soon as next month. Despite current challenges, businesses are cautiously optimistic about 2026, expecting failing and falling rates and a boost in consumer spending from built up savings. For now, the UK economy shows only marginal growth, facing headwinds from both domestic and global pressures. What do you think about that, Jeff?
Well, Ammar, it's just everything that we said at the beginning of the show.
It just summarizes all of that, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. And I think, look, we can feel it. We can feel it. We can sense it. It's not just one or two businesses. Unfortunately, it's going to touch everybody in the country. And that's really, really sad state of affairs. If the government doesn't get its act together and take some drastic action to take this head on, we're going to be in trouble. Ultimately, it comes down to world problems and bad leadership at the highest level in the highest offices. And until they're prepared to fix things and give the world stability that it really, really needs, this is just the consequences of that.
It's crazy, right? Because this morning, Canada, US's neighbor, woke up to like 35% tariffs, just like that. Just like that.
I mean,
it's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the orange man is kind of wanting to pick a fight with everybody. He's not happy with India. Obviously, he's not happy with Russia, not happy with China, not happy with Canada. Done a dodgy deal with the EU and Ursula von der Leyen, if that's what the pronunciation is, when they're selling their LG gas to Europe, when you've got like lots of gas on the doorstep of Europe with Russia, and you got all the pipes in place that you don't want to get because of you want to hold on to certain grudges or whatever it may be, and prepared to destroy people and countries. So it's just like all a big mess. It's absolutely ridiculous that we have to suffer as people because the leaders are doing what they're doing. Just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's crazy. And the impact of all of this, Jeff, from leaders across the globe. I don't think it's just one particular one,
It's
right?
not.
Is people on the ground
Of course, it's the real people, the real life.
on the day to day. Things are costing more. People are getting paid less. Businesses aren't making any money or closing. I mean, ultimately, these knee-jerk reactions like let's increase national insurance and let's increase taxes and let's increase who and what can you tax and who and what can you raise if there are no businesses and there's no jobs? What happens then? The short-sightedness is crazy, crazy. I
I
say.
mean, unfortunately, everything is leading towards those so-called conspiracy theorists that have been saying that it's deliberate to destroy our economies and destroy people's businesses, which I just wonder why would our government want that?
Hmm.
But then why would it make such foolish decisions?
I don't know. Anyway, here's some other combined and shortened. So Trump tariffs trigger short-term boost for UK, long-term risks for global brands like Adidas. So the UK economy received a brief lift in early 2025 as businesses rushed exports ahead of Trump's new tariffs, prompting the EY Item Club to raise its growth focus to 1%. However, economists warn the boost is temporary, with slower growth, rising unemployment, and persistent inflation expected through 2026. Meanwhile, Adidas is among the global brands hit hard by the same tariffs, announcing US price hikes as $200 million is added to costs. With nearly half of its products made in Vietnam and Indonesia, both now facing 19 and 20% US tariffs, Adidas joins companies like Nike and Mercedes in warning of broader economic fallout from America's protectionist trade policies. It's crazy. Headline: EU fails to reduce 50% steel tariff in draft US trade deal as industry warns of catastrophic impact. The EU has failed to secure a reduction in the harsh 50% US tariff on steel in a draft transatlantic trade deal, sparking alarm across Europe's already struggling steel industry. While most EU goods would see a 15% baseline tariff, steel remains excluded, drawing sharp criticism from Eurofer, which warned the situation could be catastrophic. By contrast, the UK, under its own bilateral agreement, secured a reduction in steel tariffs to 25%, set to fall to zero, putting the EU at a competitive disadvantage. Brussels is pushing for a quota-based compromise, but no agreement has been reached with the US. It's crazy, Jack. Crazy. But actually, it's brilliant for the UK steel industry, isn't it?
I think it's a big part of our kind of industry, and maybe they've managed to kind of twist Donald's arm, have they?
Yeah. It's yeah. Have they twisted anybody's arms? I don't know. But anyway, it's given the fact that we do manufacture steel, and actually I'm sat in Teesside, one of the most significant steel producers, industrial places. I came a slightly different way into Middlesbrough this morning, Jaff, than I normally would. And I was just admiring the significant furnaces, the industrial sites, the chimneys, and all of those things as I was coming down through Hartlepool to Middlesbrough on the back road. Um, it's an incredibly great sight, as in visibly. Yes, we used to have a particular name for people from Middlesbrough, and there was like smog on the A66 and A19 as you were coming in.
What are you trying to tell us that that's a scenic view now? It's amazing how
I love actually that way that I came in, like towards seal sands and power stations and industry. Look, you don't see that anymore, Jeff. This is my point.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't see industrial sites the way that Teesside demonstrates and illustrates that, right? It's a dying thing. You don't see coal mines anymore. You don't see, a whole host of things. So seeing this and being old people, certainly me, and a lot of these things are in action, and the people are making things, right? We powered the world, our industry, and that's my point about the steel and the coal and the shipbuilding and all of the things that we used to build. We powered the world, is what we did. And it's like seeing that now, I just feel it's like it's actually a beautiful sight because you just don't see it.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I think it's more reference to the fact that if you do have that industry, it means that the city has a chance to do real business and keep that economy alive. But in terms of, it's not exactly scenic, but it's not always about how scenic something is. It's about that city is going to be ready for business and keep that economy and jobs alive in that region, which is so important.
Well, the top and bottom of it is it's a very specialist dying trade, isn't it? Making things 100%. Physically making things. It's such a dying trade, and given the fact that industry. I mean, look, honestly, it's brilliant. It's rough. It's dirty. It's like people are wearing like overalls and coveralls and boots and the building stuff and imagine building a submarine or building a ship or building what a beautiful, brilliant trade.
Yeah, amazing, right? Really amazing, so unique.
I just think
fact that it's happening so close to us. It's probably something that we don't even know the importance of that for the region.
Oh, I'm just like in awe. I'm inspired, Jeff, is what I am, by these people working on the docks, because it's like, as you say, you don't realize what's going on. And it is such a specialist thing in this day and age. How many people could do it? Yeah. 30, 40 years ago, everybody was doing it. And now it's like such a rarity. So I would be doing that. I'd bring back coal mines, right? I would bring back heavy industry. I'd be putting us back on a platform where we're making things and making a difference. I think it's a brilliant thing. And the Northeast has always done that. So for me, it's a beautiful place. Delighted to be here, and power to the people. And there's some positivity there, right? Because we're making stuff. Anyway, you've been listening to
On the Hour, every hour, from the